Hello everybody, it's me Sam here from WoopaGaming, and today I'm going to show you how to use and install the Residence plugin. Now, what is the Residence plugin? Well, the Residence plugin allows players on your server to create their own protection on their houses or villages or whatever they want. And it just saves a bit of time. Instead of mods protecting everything and having them do it all, the players themselves can protect it, and it's just an easier way. And I'm going to show you how to use and install this. So first of all, you're going to want to download it. Links are in the description, and just download the zip file and then just export the zip to your plugins directory, and you should have a residence.jar and a residence folder with these three files in. I've also installed iConomy as well, because this plugin works really well with iConomy, and I'm hopefully going to go over how this does. So let's go over the config. So go to your plugins residence and then go to config.yml. Okay, here is all the information and variables that you can change, and I'm just going to go over the most important ones. I'm not going to go over them because there's quite a lot, and it's quite nicely commented out, so you can have a look if I haven't done over anything. Okay, first of all, the selection tool ID. Now, when we're in the game, we're going to use a tool to select 2 points and create our residence. Now, by default, this is the 271 tool, which is the wooden axe, and you can change that to whatever tool you like. And also, when we want to get info on a residence, we use the tool 287, which is a string, and you can change these values to however you want. Yeah, you might want to choose like a stick, for instance, rather than an axe. Move check interval. There is a flag that allows or stops their players moving in an area, and so this is checked every 500 I think milliseconds. Yeah, this is 500 every 500 milliseconds. It will check to see if they're in the area. You want to set this to quite high if it's causing a lag, but it shouldn't cause any lag. But if it is, or we have a low server, you might want to make this a bit higher. The save interval, every however many minutes you define, it will save the residences, so I just set the default 10. You can also use a default group system if permissions fails or you're not using it, and it shows you the default group is default. You can enable or disable the lease system. The lease system allows people to purchase the land for so many time, and then they have to renew the land for so many times using iConomy. I don't think you have to use iConomy, but that's an example of it. I set this to false as default. You can also check the leases, so if the lease is expired, then the residence will get destroyed, and that is done every 10 minutes. You can also renew leases. That's how, if they need to pay a lease, then it will just renew it for them. You can enable permissions or disable permissions. You can enable economy system or disable economy system. You also have to specify which economy system you're using. It supports many more, like economy, my economy, essentials, boss economy, and real economy, and I use iConomy, so I'm using that. You can also choose whether to rent or to not rent, I guess, your plots, so players can rent out an area for so many times, and you can set that to true or false. And as with the lease system, you can also set how long it checks to see if the rent is due. I can also enable to disable residence chat channels, so these are the channels that it uses. Default is true, and also the colour of the chat channel, which is default dark purple, so you can change that however you like. What else is there? You can also, if you have a multiverse or a multi-world plugin, you're also going to want to specify what it is here. The most popular one, I believe, is multiverse, so probably best to use that as default, but if you are using something else, place it there. That just enables it to use multi-world. Okay, so let's go down to this. Right, these are all the flags of permissions. So these are, if depending on what people have, these are all the ones they can choose from. So this, how do I explain this? If I can set container to true or false. If I set it to false, then people can't set container access in their residences, and that's the same with every flag here. So moving is moving, building is building things, placing is placing stuff, destroying is destroying stuff, using is like using a workbench or something. Container is like opening a furnace or chest. PvP is taking out players. TP, teleporting. Ignite is using flint steel. Fire spread is fire spreading through trees and such like. Bucket, using a bucket of water or lava. Flowing is like general water flow and lava flow. Creeper is like creeper blowing up, making damage, disables that. TNT, disabling TNT damage monsters, whether or not they spawn there. Animals, whether or not they spawn there. Subzones, if they're only allowed to have subzones within a residence, and whether or not allowed to choose that if their player heals inside the residence. These are all the default flags applied to all all residences from any user group, so they can build false. So if they're not in a resistance group, then these are what they'll have, and these are all the default flags to the resident creator. So if they created one, then they'll have the build, move, use and container. So that just allows them to do the basic commands really. Okay, moving on. Whether you can also enable disable whether or not players can create a residence by setting this can create to true or false. They set the number of residences they can have. Max area per residence, so the number of physical areas a residence can have. You can also set the amount of blocks on the x-axis, on the z-axis and on the y-axis. You'll notice 127 is the maximum height of a world. You can also set the minimum height and the maximum height. You can also set subzone depth. So yeah, we can choose whatever we like there. You can also disallow the command res on the start, which we'll go over when we get into the in-game commands. You can set that to true or false, and yep, there's a messaging system. That's pretty self-explanatory. Oh yeah, this is what you want to do. Whether or not you want to, if you have an economy system on, you can set whether people can buy and sell their residences by setting these to true. It also, the cost per block of an area, so for every block it's 0.05 of whatever currency you have, and how much it costs to renew. This is for the lease system. So if someone wants to make an area, then it will cost them that much to buy it effectively, and then to renew it, it will cost that much as well. So yeah. Moving on. These are just all the... Okay. So that's just the residence version down the bottom. The rest is all the type of blacklists and whatnot. So you can just go over that. I'm not going to go over it for this tutorial. So now I'm just going to go in game. Now I've done... Oh wait. Let's go to res.yml. And this will just show you all the residences in the game at the moment. So you can see there's a dark place, which you'll see in a minute, because I did the recording of the in-game before I did this, so you'll see that. And what I forgot in the bit you're about to see is the command /res space remove space and then the name of the residences, and that's how you remove a residence. So I'll see you in a bit. Hello everybody, we're now on the in-game Minecraft, so I'm going to just go over all the residence commands. I'm currently playing in offline mode because my internet's down, and I thought I'd just do the video now. So what the first command you're going to need to do is res space question mark, and this will just show you a list of all the commands that residents can use. It's basically the help page, and I'm hopefully going to go through what all the different commands do and how to set up a resident. So first thing you need to do, by default, you need a stick, and by default that is the wooden axe. So I'm going to spawn myself a wooden axe, and the way you're going to select your area is you're going to select 2 points. So for instance, I'm going to choose a small area. It's quite a nice wall spawn, I think. I'm going to choose this point here and this one here. So from these 2 corners of the rectangle will all be protected, but if I just select those 2 points there, only in that square from that point all the blocks to that point will be protected. But I want all the blocks above and below, and now I could dig down and click the block I wanted, and I could go up in the sky and click the block, but there's an easier way to do that. And what we're going to do is res select that, and that will expand your residence to the highest and lower limit of your selection. So that's how you select the highest amount. By the way, to select 2 points, you're going to select a primary point, as you can see here, primary point selected, and a secondary point. The primary point is done by left clicking, and the secondary point is done by right clicking. Okay, so we're going to look at the select commands. Res space select space question mark, and as you can see we can select a X, Y, Z with a radius, but as you can see we've used a select vert, which will do the highest and lowest point. We can also do the same with select sky, but that will just go up to the sky, and we can also do select bedrock, but that will just go down to the bedrock. We can also get the size of our selection by doing res select size, and as you can see that will tell me how many blocks are in the residence. So it's 11 by 128 by 12, 16,896 blocks, and it'll cost me 845 currency if you're using currency to buy your land. So that's the size, but we can also see what 2 points I've selected by doing res select coords, and it'll just show me my first primary selection and my secondary selection that I clicked with the stick. But as you can see, 0 and 127 is the y-axis, showing that I've gone from the lowest point to the highest point. We can also expand this residence. So say I wanted to make my selection a bit bigger over here because I messed up or something, and I want to get that sheep in it. I can do res select expand and then say 10, and it will span the direction I'm looking at 10 places. So I can do that in any direction, up or down, left to right, north, south, the general directions, and that will span my selection, how many blocks I defined that way. I can also shift it. So for instance, now I've shifted it, expanded it 10. I might have expanded it in the wrong place, and I might want to shift it this way a bit so that I can get more of the cave in. So I can do this by doing res select shift and then say 10. So now it's shifting the whole selection 10 blocks to the left. So that's how you do that. You can do that, of course, like any other direction. I know we've got a mob fight here. See if I can bring him outside. So he dies. See, that's how pro I am. Next to this, we can also select an entire chunk that we're in by doing res space select space chunk, and that will just select the whole chunk that you're in. Usually if you just want to just predict a entire area really quickly, and that's how you do that. One last one is res select residence, the residence name, and then the area ID. You can select a pre-existing area as your thing, but I'm going to show you how to create an area now. So now we've selected what we want. I'm going to create the residence. And I'll do this by doing res create and then the name of the residence I'm going to create. So I'm going to call it cave. And it should say residence area main created main. You have created a residence cave. So now you just notice that as I moved into the residence, it says welcome player to cave, owned by player. And now, depending on what your name is and what you name the residence, it will change. But you can change this later, as I'm going to show you. So next on the list is info. So we do this by doing res info and then the name of the residence. So res space info and then cave. And as you can see, it tells you the owner, the name of it, how much money it has, the global flags. So for instance, there's no PvP, container access, TNT and whatnot for general players. My flags are, I can use containers, I can use like workbenches, I can build stuff and I can move around. You can set group flags and other flags, and this will show you like the actual size of it. So we've got 0.1 and 0.2 and then the size of the area. We've got the ID of the area we are in, and we've got the total size of the area, how many blocks, and any subzones we may have. I can also, if I knew the ID for string, which I don't, I can just get a string and left click in an area and it will show me that same information. Okay, res, question mark. Okay, now to set certain things. So we can set 3 things, and they are set, pset and gset. Set means globally set, so you can like disable global TNT usage, global creeper damage, and for instance pset is player set, so you can permissions for each player, so I can allow one person to build, and gset is group set. And I'm just going to go over a little example of each one. So res set space question mark. So these are all the flags that you can use for just global. So we put res set, name of the residence, so cave, and then a flag. So I'm gonna, let's say I'm gonna say monsters defaults. So as you can see, the flag says allows monster spawn, so that should stop monsters spawning in this area. And of course I can choose what ones I want, and I can also set true, false, and remove. That's the same with pset, but slightly different. So pset space question mark, and I do this by doing res pset, name of the residence, which is cave, and the name of the player, so torrent. The flag, so I'm going to allow torrent to build by doing this build, and then the true. So now if torrent was to come on, he would be able to build in this residence, but any other player would not be able to. And that's the same with gset. So if I just do gset, instead of placing a player, you can just place a group name. Okay, so moving on. Is list. So res list will show you all the residences that you own. And if I'm admin, or I think, I can do res space list all, and this will show me the entire residence of the world I'm currently in, or not world I'm currently in, the entire server. So there's only one residence at the moment, and that's cave, so it'll just have one. I can also see the limits by doing res space limit, and this will show me all the constraints on making residences. So players can only make 3 residences each, the max west side, the max south side, the max height, and for instance, and this is basically what's in your configuration, and it just shows you some information there, and you can change that. So res space question mark. We're going to do res unstuck. So if I'm in a residence, and I don't know, if it's a very big residence and I want to get out, I can just do res unstuck, and that will teleport me to outside the residence area. So you can see it teleported me outside, and now I move back in, but I am above. the cave now. Oh well, it has to do it from here, I don't want to die. Okay, that's unstuck. We can also TP to a residence by doing res TP and then the name of residence, so res TP cave. But for instance, say I want to set the exact location of where I want to spawn. I think I can make that jump. Oh, look at that pro skills. Ah, not even enough. So say I wanted to set the exact spawn, so I don't know, underneath the cave. You know to set it spawn me over there. I can do that by doing res TP TP set and then the name of the residence, like res TP set cave. Res, wait, what? Res TP set. Oh, you don't have to put you don't have to do a residence name, you just have to be in that residence. So res TP set. Apparently invalid residence. Oh, not in a residence. My apologies. So now I have to be actually in the residence to make it work. So res TP set. And there we are, my teleport location is set. So now if I go on my flower hunting mission, and I go, oh, I want to go back to put my flowers in the cave, I can just do DP res TP cave, and bam, in the location I specified. We can also set the ingoing and outgoing messages, and as you can see that it says now leaving cave and welcome player to cave. We can change these by doing res message, name of the residence being cave, enter or leave, and then name of message, so welcome to the cave, it is the best, happy face. And we can also set the leave a message by doing the same, so res message, name of residence cave, and then leave, and then the name of the message, so now entering doom. Okay, so now when we walk out, it should say now entering doom. So we're out, now entering doom, and then we walk back in. Welcome to the cave, it is the best. So you can have some fun with that. We can also mirror residence permissions, but I don't have anything to mirror on, but I'll go over what you can do. So what you do is res mirror the source, so what the source of the permissions, so this is going to be the copied from, so I'm going to copy it from cave, and then say I'm in another residence called cave 2, I could copy the permissions from cave and then just put them onto cave 2, which is easier than sending it all up again. Market, so res space market, and these are all the commands for buying, selling and renting properties. So if you have it enabled on your server, a currency system, you can buy and sell residences with other players. So first of all, I'm going to sell the cave. I'll do this by doing res market sell cave, res market sell cave, oh, and then an amount, so 200. So now the residence cave is for sale for 200. So if someone wanted to buy that, they would be able to buy it for 200, and they do this by doing res market, not in caps, buy, and then the name of the resident being cave. So I can't buy my own one, of course, but that's how you do it. I can see what's for sale by doing res market list, and that will show you all the current land for sale. And as you can see, my property cave is up for grabs. I can remove it from the list by doing res market unsell, and then the name of the residence, so cave. I'm no longer selling the residence. I can also get information on each residence by doing res info and then the name of the residence, and that will just give other players ability to see what I can see by doing res info, just quick and easy without actually being there. So you can see the owner and how big it is. So let's see what other commands are left. Rent. So you can rent out a residence. You do this by doing res space market space rent, name of the residence, and then how long you want to repeat it. Oh no, sorry. You make a residence rentable by doing rentable, name of the residence, how much is it going to cost, so 100 for like 5 days. So someone can rent this property for 5 days for 100 credits, or whatever your currency system is. Ours is credits, and the rent system is disabled because I didn't set it up right, but if you wanted this system you can enable it, and you can rent them off people that own res space market space rent space name of residence, and then repeat time or thing. You can also remove a rented property by doing res market space release space and then the name of the thing that you put on the market. Also you can renew the rent by doing res space market space auto renew, name of the residence, and then you can either set true or false, and that will basically, if I'm owing someone money for my rented accommodation, it will just pay them automatically when it is due. So moving down the list, we have res lease. Now if you have a lease system enabled, this will basically mean that people can't have the residence forever. They have to purchase it and maintain ownership of it by buying it all the time. And so if I want to continue Cave, because it might expire in say 3 days or so, I can renew the lease, and I do this by doing res lease renew and then the name of the residence, but it does not expire because I didn't set it to expire. But if that's how you want to do it, which is quite a good idea, that's how you can do it. And then you can also see the cost of renewing by doing res lease cost and then name of the residence, and it should show you the cost of how much it costs. And now the cost of it renewing is less than that of doing it again, so it's probably best to renew rather than just to purchase first time. And okay, res lists, and that will show you all the predefined permissions lists. There we are. So that you can manage predefined permissions list here. You can add a permission list, remove a list, you can show the lists, you can make a list, and it's pretty. So just to see res lists list, and we don't have any lists yet, but you can make lists for it and then add them in game. So okay, that's for groups and stuff, by the way. Res space question mark. We can add an area to a residence. So say I click point here, I want to take some more of this grass into my cave, for instance, and I do res create cave 2. You'll notice that the arrow collides with cave. Now instead of creating 2 separate residences, I can just expand my pre-existing cave residence, and I'll do this by doing res area add cave and then the name of bit, so I'm going to call it grass land. And now you'll notice that this bit is now covered, is classed as the cave. So as you can see, the messages are being popped up. So let's look at the area commands we've got. So we can also remove area from a residence by doing res area remove and then name of residence and the ID, and we can also replace an area as well if we so wish to, but we must select an area first. So moving on, you can also rename an area by doing res rename and then name of residence and then what you want it to, so dark place. So cave now renamed to dark place. You won't notice that, but if I do res info, it'll show dark place there is the name of the residence. And you can also see that there is a current area ID, and that is grassland. And we can also change the name of grassland by doing res rename area. Yes, res rename area grass land, and then we'll do the new land, which should be, I don't know, just grass. Yeah, I found it. I knew I found that. Res rename area. It will be the dark place. Grass land grass. Yes, look at that. Look at that pro skills. Yeah, you'll have to put the name of the main ID residence before the area you want to change. So that's how to do that. And you can also lastly get the ID, not ID, the version of residence that we're using, and you can see we're using 2.1.4. It might be updated now. And it also provides you some links there for more information if I haven't been good enough. There's one other thing I think I missed actually. Res subzones. So we can also create subzones. So I'm going to create a subzone here. These work well in residences, so I'm going to protect this this gravel bit. So for instance, if I wanted someone's house to be here in this gravel bit, I could like allow them to, and I do this by doing res subzone, name of the residence, so it would be dark place, and then the name of what I want to call it, so gravel. So now when I enter this gravel bit, I'll just destroy that. It says welcome player to darkplace.gravel owned by player. And that's the bit of subzone. So with the subzones, if we just bring up the help, I can use space SZ. And that's basically a residence inside another residence. So that's good when you're trying to protect houses in a town, for instance. You might have one big residence for the town, and then separate subzones for each, I don't know, part of the town or house. Okay, and that concludes today's tutorial. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also set up a new Twitter, so follow us on that. We haven't posted yet, but I'll probably post some more stuff. We're going to be doing some more plugins, and so subscribe. Thanks for everyone for subscribing, by the way. It's helped us a lot. We've got a new partnership, and we're happy with that. So cheers everyone, thanks, goodbye, peace. How do I stop this thing? There, oh.